Today's Steelers Talk video is presented by RexMD, the most trusted name in men's telehealth. If you need a little help in the bedroom, you can use our exclusive link here at rexmd.com/chat to get 90% off. Welcome into Steelers Talk, Yinzers. My name is Jack Sperry. Today, very fun video for you here on the weekend where I have 5 trade ideas for the Pittsburgh Steelers here before and during the 2023 NFL Draft. Can't wait to break it down with you. And speaking of the NFL Draft, we got some great draft coverage coming your way here on the channel. Here on Steelers Talk, we have draft rumors pretty much every single day covered for you guys here on YouTube. Then, of course, prospect analysis and rankings. We're going to be really getting into the weeds here with all these top prospects here over the next couple of weeks. And, of course, we have Steelers mock drafts every single week here leading up to the 2023 NFL Draft. So if you're looking for Steelers draft coverage, this is the place for you. Go ahead and click that subscribe button for me right now. So before we get into these trade ideas, I want to give a little disclaimer here. I'm not necessarily advocating for I'm not necessarily against these trade ideas, okay? I just think that these certain scenarios could be on the Steelers' radar, okay? So now that we got that out of the way, let's get to our first potential trade idea here, which is to go out and trade for star wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. Now, you take a look at what D-Hop has been able to do over the last couple of years. Last year with the Cardinals, he was suspended for the first couple games of the year, and then when he came back, it's not like the production was isn't what we're used to seeing, let's say. Only 3 touchdowns, 717 yards, 9 games played, 64 receptions. But, I mean, Kyler Murray got hurt really, really quickly after he returned. He had guys like Trace McSorley throwing him the football. So I wouldn't read too much into those numbers. But, man, this is somebody that is a consistent 1,000-plus yard receiver, over 100 catches throughout his career. You can see that in 2020 and 2019. For me, I still think that he has it. He still has some of the best hands in the game. He's still a really good route runner. I think he can still be a true number 1 receiver in the National Football League. And this is what it would probably take in order for the Steelers to go and get DeAndre Hopkins. It's probably going to take a 3rd-round pick. The only 3rd-round pick the Steelers have right now is the number 80, or the 80th overall pick in this year's NFL Draft. So let me know what you guys think about this trade in the comments section. Who wins it, Steelers or Cardinals? Let me know who wins this trade and why in the comments section. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So whenever you get an ad break here on YouTube, go ahead, get into the comment section, find that pinned comment, and answer today's question. So why does this make sense for the Arizona Cardinals? I think that Arizona is looking to get as good of a draft pick as possible in exchange for Hopkins. They've already told Hopkins that they will deal him at some point this offseason. And if the 80th overall pick is the highest pick that a team is willing to give up for him, the Steelers could be the team. So now, why would it make sense for the Steelers? For number 1 here, Hopkins, in my opinion, like I said, I still believe that he is a true wide receiver 1 in the National Football League, in my opinion. He is aging. You are going to have to give him a new contract, but I think he would be worth that contract potentially if you make this move. And then secondly, he would be an incredible mentor to George Pickens. When George Pickens was coming out of Georgia last year, my comp for him was actually DeAndre Hopkins. Their game is incredibly similar. They both have great hands. They both have great body control. They both have great burst off the line. I think that these 2 receivers are really, really good. And as Pickens is progressing over the next couple of years, trying to develop himself into a star into the National Football League, I think that Hopkins could be one heck of a mentor for him. So now there's just one problem here. If the Steelers are going to trade for and then pay for Hopkins and give him a new contract, another player with a big contract must be unloaded on the roster. And for me, that person would be wide receiver Diontae Johnson. So you're bringing in a receiver and you're getting rid of a receiver. I'm going to be breaking down what that trade could look like in just a second. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor at RexMD. Fellas, do you sometimes lack confidence in the bedroom? We've all had those nights where we get too nervous or maybe had too much to drink. There's nothing worse than not being able to put the stick shift in drive when you need it the most. But have no fear, RexMD is here spreading cheer even when you have few too many beers. RexMD is an FDA approved and the most trusted leader in men's telehealth. They have sponsored today's Steelers Talk to help you always be prepared. RexMD has made it simple, easy, and cost-effective to help all the men out there last longer and feel more confident in the bedroom. RexMD makes getting generic and branded Viagra or Cialis easy. Everything's online, even the prescription, and they deliver it directly to your door. No waiting rooms, no embarrassing trips to the doctor, no insurance, and no copays. Take advantage of their best deal they've ever offered and save up to 90% off and only pay $2 per dosage with our exclusive link. Go to RexMD.com for this limited deal. Starter pack is generic Viagra or Cialis are now available for our listeners to get started. That's RexMD.com/chat for up to 90% off, guys. It's a fantastic deal. Check out RexMD today at RexMD.com/chat. So now let's get back to this second trade idea, which is to trade Diontae Johnson to the Houston Texans. You take a look at what DJ did with the Steelers last year. The big number that sticks out there is 0 touchdowns. He absolutely destroyed the record last year of most catches in a single season without a single TD. At 86, he had 882 yards. He was a massive, massive help for Kenny Pickett, specifically on third down this last season. But if the Steelers wanted to trade him to the Houston Texans, I think the Texans would give them that second pick in the second round. So if you made this deal, not only would the Steelers have the first pick in the second round, that 32nd overall pick, but you would also have pick number 33. You got the first 2 picks on day 2 if you make this deal. Now, Diontae Johnson is a very, very good player. I'm not sure if this is something the Steelers would do, but let's go over why this makes sense for both parties here. It makes sense for the Houston Texans because they're likely going to draft a quarterback, and having a get-open type of receiver like Diontae Johnson, who's one of the best route runners in the National Football League, is something that would be absolutely massive to have for a rookie quarterback, whether that be Bryce Young out of Alabama or CJ Stroud from Ohio State. So then why does it make sense for Pittsburgh? It gives them the cap room to potentially target DeAndre Hopkins or another wide receiver if they feel like Diontae Johnson's not that true number 1 wide receiver. He's kind of getting paid like one right now. Didn't have a touchdown last year. Not a great red zone threat. So if you want to unload him, Houston is probably that team because they're likely going to be drafting a quarterback. But personally, guys, I would say don't get your hopes up on this one. Diontae Johnson plays a very crucial role in Matt Canada's offense, specifically on third down. And unless he straight up asks for a trade here before the draft, which I think is highly unlikely, I expect him to be a Steeler next season. So let me know right now in the comments section, who would win this trade? The Pittsburgh Steelers or the Houston Texans? Type PIT if you think Steelers or HOU if you think the Texans. All right, so the next trade idea here all pertains to the draft. That first one is trading up for an offensive tackle with the Chicago Bears. Now, I think that there's 4 offensive tackle prospects that I think the Steelers could be targeting as quote-unquote their guy. Paris Johnson Jr. out of Ohio State University is my number 1 guy this year. Peter Skoronski is a technician at the position. Broderick Jones is more of that straight-up power rusher. And then Darnell Wright, some people say that he can't move over to the left side, but he definitely fits what the Steelers want to do in terms of power, run game, and if the Steelers think that he is the guy, that could be the pick as well. And if this ended up happening, this is what I think would maybe be the move. So it's either going to be, so you're going to be switching those first-round picks pretty much no matter what, and it really comes down to the Bears, in my opinion, whether they would take number 49 overall or not, because personally, I am not giving up that number 32 overall pick. I think it's way, way too valuable for the Steelers, and I think that number 49 and number 17 is good enough value for the Bears, who are trying to load up on young talent as they try to build that roster up for Justin Fields. So why does it make sense for the Chicago Bears? Like I said, they need a ton of young talent, and getting another second-round pick that could be a day 1 starter for them could be massive for them. Then you look at, they could easily get a good right tackle at number 17, right? Darnell Wright, DeJuan Jones, Broderick Jones even. One of those guys is going to fall most likely to number 17, and right now I think the Bears really do need a right tackle less than a left tackle. Braxton Jones for the Bears Steelers last year. Really did a good job for them last year. I think he will return as their left tackle. Now they need a right tackle. In my opinion, getting a right tackle is going to be a lot easier at number 17 than getting a left tackle. So if they want to get an extra draft pick and another potential day one starter, they could make this trade with the Steelers. So why does it make sense for the Steelers? Plain and simply, they get their guy at the left tackle position. If they really want to replace Dan Moore Jr. and solidify that picket fence there and protect Kenny Pickett here in his sophomore season and in years to come, I think that moving up to number 9, as long as Omar Khan doesn't get too aggressive and trade that 32nd overall pick, I think it would be a decent move. But you guys let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Who gets the better deal in this scenario? Type Pittsburgh or type Chicago? I can't wait to see what you guys have to say about this potential scenario. Then another trade idea here. We got 2 more for you. Trade down from number 17 with the New York Giants. So this one is a very interesting one for me because, in my opinion, you only trade down if all of the top offensive tackle and cornerback prospects on your board are gone at that point. And for me, I think it comes down to 8 names that the Steelers are going to be looking at here. Paris Johnson Jr., Broderick Jones, Peter Skoronski, of course, those top 3 offensive tackle. Darnell Wright's there at the end. And then, of course, those top 4 cornerback prospects in Witherspoon, Banks, Gonzalez, and Porter Jr. If none of these guys are there, and that's certainly a possibility at number 17, there's only 8 names here on this list. It's certainly possible that all these guys are gone. I think the move for the Steelers is to trade down for additional draft capital, and this is what I think that the move would look like. You get an additional 3rd and an additional 4th from the Giants to move down a couple spots. It puts you in position to take a wide receiver or maybe a lower level cornerback like a Tyreek Stevenson there at number 25 overall, and it gets you a couple more picks in the middle rounds to try to find a gem, try to find a starter at one of those positions of need on the Steelers roster. So why does it make sense for the New York Giants? For me, the Giants need to add a top wide receiver to add to that wide receiver room to give Daniel Jones the best chance at success. They just signed him to that big contract, right? And I really think that bringing in a guy like Jordan Addison or Jaxon Smith-Njigba or Zay Flowers, whoever they like, getting the guy that they want is going to be really important for them, and it's going to be really important for Daniel Jones's success. So I think that this is something the Giants might consider. And then when you look at it from the Steelers side of things, if all their top guys are gone, you don't need to force it, right? You get additional draft picks. You have multiple team needs that you need to address this offseason. If you're not getting good value at number 17 at a position of need, I say trade down. And of course, you can get additional draft picks here to fill needs, which is absolutely massive if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let me know in the comment section who is the winner of this trade. Type Pittsburgh Steelers or New York Giants. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. And finally here, our last trade idea is to trade down from number 32. And this one is actually pretty darn likely in my opinion. So you look at this potential trade offer here with the Miami Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are going to be looking for an offensive tackle prospect here, and they're not going to be afraid to really be aggressive. They're going to give the Steelers a 2nd-round pick this year, number 51 overall, an additional 3rd-round pick this year, number 84, and then you're going to get a 2024 2nd-round pick in exchange for number 32. I think that the Dolphins right now, when you take a look at their offensive line, like they got Teron Armstead, pretty darn good, but you also need to address right tackle, in my opinion. Austin Jackson is just not it for me if you are the Miami Dolphins. Teron Armstead, someone that's getting a little bit older. You know, he's had some injuries, but I think that they're going to roll with him at left tackle. I think that the Dolphins are really going to be looking to address that right tackle position. If there's somebody like a Darnell Wright or a DeJuan Jones or somebody that they really like at the tackle position still there at number 32, I think they're going to be extremely aggressive, which is why it makes sense here. They're going to really want that offensive tackle prospect, and I think they're going to be willing to give up a 2nd-round pick in next year's NFL draft in order to get it. Then why does it make sense for the Pittsburgh Steelers to do this? Plain and simply, if there's not great value for you at number 32, you can use this as kind of a nice trade piece, get additional draft picks, and really just set the table for yourself to address the rest of the needs on your roster. They need to address nose tackle, inside linebacker, of course, cornerback. Now, if like a really great player like a Deontay Banks or Joey Porter Jr. or somebody like that falls to you at number 32, go ahead and take that player. But if you're not going to get great value there at that pick, use the value of pick number 32 to your advantage and get some extra draft capital. So for the last time here, get in the comments section here and tell me, would the Steelers win this trade with the Miami Dolphins? Type yes or type no. I really think that because of the Dolphins' aggressiveness here, this would be a fantastic trade for the black and gold. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. All right, that's going to do it for today's show, guys. But go ahead and follow me on Twitter. I just started a brand new Twitter account just for the Pittsburgh Steelers and your fan base, guys. So if you want to do that right now, my Steelers page is at Sperry _Yins, and then my main page here is at Jack _Sperry. I put my NFL mock drafts and all my general NFL stuff up on there. And if you want to follow me on my Steelers page at Sperry _Yins, I will give you a follow back. That is my promise to you guys. Trying to build that up a little bit here so we can build a nice community, not only here on YouTube, but of course on Twitter. That's going to do it for me today, Yinzers. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.